See if you get the notification.
There it is. We're live.
And we're live. Beers and Buffalo podcast, season 6, episode 27, I believe it is. I should have checked. I think it is 27. Sure. It's 27. Back at it again with the live stream on YouTube. Again, we're still going to be doing our recordings on Spotify and Apple Podcasts after. But this little live stream thing, which has been kind of going on, 2-3 weeks now?
Yeah.
We're still working kinks out, so I'm hoping everything will sound good in the post production here. And once this is uploaded, hope it sounds good to everybody watching live. But yeah, let's get into it. And actually, we're bringing back the coveted beer reviews. So hold on, let me pull something up here. What do we got here, Mike?
It's a fun looking can, though.
Yeah, it is. It is. We got. That's the next thing I want to do. I got to add a slide for beer reviews.
Oh.
So I think next. I mean, we're still technically on season 6. Season 7, when we start the new season, I'll have a slide for beer reviews, and I think I'm going to put, in the background, the rankings of, the top 3
that'd be cool.
running beers or whatever like that, because we're going to have a lot of them, so I don't want to keep them all up there, but maybe, the top 3, and if somebody gets bumped off the top 3 or 5 or whatever,
that's cool.
we can keep a ranking list. But,
yeah.
All right, cool, man. We got, it's called Moon Cube by Myers Creek Brewing Company. It's a fruited sour, mango, strawberry, prickly pear. 5% by alcohol, so it's actually not that heavy. I'm trying to see. I remember Myers Creek. I think they're local. I think this is a New York State. Yep, product of New York State. They're somewhere in New York. Not sure exactly, but
that's all right.
Let's open these things
First sour of the reviews, so I'm a little nervous. I'm not a huge fan of sours. There's one, maybe 2 that I actually like, and that was the sour rocket pop.
Oh yeah.
Those were good. Good
yeah,
color.
I figured we have to get a sour in there, dude.
Yeah, you like your sours. You didn't fuck up the pour this time.
I know.
So that's good.
And dude, there's chunks in here, dude. Look at this thing, man.
Oh.
We got debris floating around in there.
It sounds gross as fuck.
I think it's the yeast strains or something, man. I don't know, man. I sound like I know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, we just know how to drink. That's
Cheers,
right.
man.
Cheers.
See how this thing tastes. Wow.
It's
fruity. Sour.
It's sour. It's not as sour as I thought it was going to be.
Maybe I'm just sensitive to sour, dude. I feel like some of these sours, people are like, oh, it's not sour. And then I drink it, it's sour, dude.
I don't think that's that.
It tastes like a warhead to me, dude.
No, that's not a warhead. That is definitely not. It is definitely not a warhead. No. That's it's not bad. So my initial taste was strawberry, and then as I started drinking more, I got the mango. I'm not getting any. Oh, there's all my chunks. Oh,
yeah, that's on
gross.
The bottom of the can.
That's fucking gross. I shouldn't have poured the bottom of that can.
Don't pour the bottom out, though.
That's gross as fuck. That's all right.
Get the backup ready.
Oh yeah, good call.
I mean, so we didn't do a sour at all before.
Nope.
Earlier this year?
We did not do one sour. This is the first sour.
Crap, I don't even have the thing up. Well, that's surprising. I thought we did one.
We were going to,
and we never did. And because I see
we
a
did
good
the seasonal. We did the Oktoberfest, and then we did Thanksgiving, and then we did Christmas, and then after that it was just all right, end of season. Then January was we did whiskey all month, so that was 5 straight weeks of just doing bourbon and whiskey.
Yeah, I'll be honest too. If I want to get a sour and then I see a good IPA, I'm going right for the IPA
for sure.
9 times out of 10. So it's hard to convince me otherwise. But I don't know. For a sour, it's pretty good. Let me get a second sip on here before I give it a ranking.
A little bit of pear on the back end, but not much. It's very.
Now I'm tasting a lot. I get kind of all the fruits. The what is it? The tangerine or something? What's the
strawberry, mango, and
mango? The mango's coming through. The mango's coming through strong for me. I don't know, man. We didn't do many sours. Nothing really compared to. I'm going to give this a flat 7 as a baseline. It could be better. I just think it's really sour, dude. I'm getting a lot of sour on it, which I guess if you're getting a sour beer, you want it to be a little bit sour, right? I'm
going to give this a 6-8. I don't really know. I'm not a big fan of sours. It's not bad. This isn't something that I'd be I'm going out to buy, though.
Awesome. All right. I got a slide here for our first thing, too, which is funny. So Bills talk. We'll start off with the Bills. Buffalo Bills signed, I think it was today or yesterday, punter Brad Robbins from the Cincinnati Bengals. Don't know anything about this guy.
No idea.
Other than I made a whole slide for him because I thought it would look cool. They released Sam Martin, I think, early March, which I don't know why. I guess like we don't ever use our freaking punter at this point.
Yeah.
I feel like I can go out there and just kick balls, but
No, you can't.
You're gonna pay these guys probably like close to league minimums anyways, unless you're going out and getting like a bona fide, Pro Bowl or something like that, which the Bills I don't think really need. I mean, I get it, punting's important. I'm not saying like we don't care about punting, but like it's not on the priority list, so. Probably a cost-cutting move. I don't know the numbers on it. Just saw it this morning, signing Brad Robbins to the...
my guess is probably slightly above league minimum.
Yeah, probably, dude. I don't know. All right. And then... Go back to Bills here for a little bit. The slides. Contract halts with James Cook, who's seeking an extension. $15 million per season has been halted. Deal for $15 million would rank him third among running backs behind Saquon and McCaffrey. Saquon's making about $20.5 million. McCaffrey about $19 million. Cook is due to make $5.3 million in the fourth and final season of his rookie deal in 2025. Then he becomes an unrestricted free agent in 26 if he doesn't get a new deal. This was released by, I think, Brandon Beane earlier today or yesterday. Don't see us getting something done anytime soon. We're on to the draft, but just because we don't get something done this year doesn't mean we can't get something done before he's a free agent. So it sounds like nothing's going to happen. I don't think they're going to do it during the season. I don't see how that's... I feel like that's more of a distraction if you try to get a deal done mid-season. So if they don't get it done before the draft, I feel like it's just going to wait till the end of the year to try to get something done. He's obviously wants to stay with the Bills, so I don't think they're really risking anything. Possibly, what they're banking on is he has either the same year or... Honestly, I don't think they want him to digress, but if he explodes, they got to pay him more money. That's the only thing. I don't know.
The problem I see with that is he had 16 touchdowns last year and only had 48% of the snap share. So, yeah, his production was there. I think a lot of that benefits from Josh Allen not running in a lot of touchdowns because Josh Allen didn't have nearly as many rushing touchdowns. So he benefited because Josh didn't run the ball more. Right. Whether that's Josh not wanting to give the ball to Cook more, or if that's Joe Brady drawing up more run plays to try to protect Josh and make sure he doesn't get hurt because, get down to those goal line carries. There's a lot of moving parts down there. And obviously, you'd rather hand it off to your running back. And, not having any fumbles last year was good. I think he's worth close to 15. I don't know if I'd actually give him 15 and make him the third highest paid back in the league. But I said on the last time we talked about this that we were only waiting for Christian Benford and James Cook. One of those two was going to get a deal. And I said, if anybody's getting the deal, I'm giving it to Christian Benford long before I give it to James Cook.
And they did, didn't they?
Yeah, they just signed James Cook 4 years, 74.
Benford.
Christian Benford, my apologies. Benford 4 years, $74 million extension. Dude went out and earned his money. So I'm happy with that. The cornerback position is a lot more. I think it's more important than the running back when you have Josh Allen as your quarterback. And with Christian Benford, his type of ability, I think there's not as many to choose from.
Right.
Not saying we can just go find James Cook off the street.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, cornerback's a lot harder of a position to lock down. And
my point, my position is that maybe cornerback's a little bit harder to lock down, but we've been struggling on defense, and like he's one of the very few shining pieces. So they want to make sure they're not going to lose that piece. Whereas, James Cook had a great year. They feel like they could probably wait that out a little bit longer versus, man, we really shit the bed last year on defense. We need to make sure that's a priority first. So I think they were just focusing, more on that defensive end and making sure they get those guys signed before they go into Cook, whose deal is probably going to be more lucrative. What did they sign Benson for?
Benford? $74 million for 4 years.
Oh, geez, never mind. I thought
was it 5 for 74? Or it might have been 5. I'm not even. I know it's $74 million.
Okay, so
and I can't remember now if it's 4 or 5 years.
So maybe they wanted to focus on that. They're getting a lot of the big money out because they paid Josh, they're paying Benford, they're paying a lot of these guys. I think they just feel comfortable in waiting out James Cook. That's what it comes down to. And like I said, defense was an issue last year. They want to make sure they have all their ducks in a row. Some other news here. Cincinnati still hasn't extended out Trey Hendrickson. again, I think I saw a quote saying that it's a priority, but not really on the forefront. We'll figure something out. I find it hard to believe they're going to let this guy walk. I think they'll end up having to shelf some more money out. I just don't get it. I don't see somebody like that caliber. A rusher like that doesn't come around too often. I think the Bengals would be foolish not to sign him. They'll get a deal done. I'm just surprised it's taken this long. Yeah,
I know they were trying to trade. He wanted to seek a trade. He went out and looked for it, but I honestly can't see the Bengals trading him. They'd be stupid not to, or they'd be stupid to trade him. They have to keep him at this point. Whether or not they get that deal done now or at the end of the season, kind of the same thing with Cook. Mm-hmm. Henderson is probably going to get paid by the Bengals. They haven't shown a very good history of paying their players when they want to be paid. Brown or Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Yeah. Neither one of them, they wanted contracts years ago, and they just got them now. And they franchise tagged T. Higgins twice before they gave him a contract. So I can see something similar with that happening with Trey Hendrickson. They're going to keep him. He's going to get paid. May franchise tag him. He'll make a little bit more money. And then eventually, if he keeps it up, then they'll pay him more.
Same with the Cowboys. Still haven't extended Micah Parsons out.
They're idiots. Jerry Jones has no idea what he's fucking doing. That dude, 82 years old, should not be running this much of the team at this point.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think he's past the senile stage in his life, dude. Obviously, if you're a Cowboys fan, you've been calling for his firing probably for the last 5 to 10 years, dude. Like you're just ready to move on to the next chapter. But like you alluded to in earlier episodes, it's just going to go to his son anyways. Yeah, is there going to be much of a difference in running that team? Probably not.
No, because he's getting the blueprint from his old man. Like at this point, he's like, well, this is working for him. I'm just going to do the same thing.
But is it working though? That's the thing. Is it working?
It's working because we're talking about them, and that's what I think Jerry Jones wants more than anything.
Oh yeah,
he wants to be talked about. He wants to be on. He wants to lead Sports Center every day. He wants to lead all these talk shows every day. He doesn't give a shit if his team wins or loses. He says he does, but he just wants to be talked about. The dude goes on 2 different talk shows in his hometown like every week. Like he just wants to be up front and center. He wants to be the attention getter. Like that's all he wants.
That's what he does, man. That's what he does. He's out there.
He's doing that right.
So Stephen A can talk about him on Sports Center, and it is what it is. We got a slide for this one too. Steelers getting closer to a deal with Aaron Rodgers. Supposedly, but that's like the last team that I've heard kind of talks with. He's kind of bounced around, and it's kind of landed now on the Steelers, and it looks like that's where kind of all roads are leading to at this point. The Steelers, we know they get rid of Russ. They get rid of they trade out what's his face, the running quarterback. Why am I drawing a blank here?
Justin Fields.
Jesus Christ. No quarterback left. You got Mason Rudolph, right? So obviously they're in need of one. This makes sense if you don't have a plan. However, they have the 21st pick in the draft. They could get Jackson Dart from Ole Miss if they don't go like a defensive tackle. I've seen some mock drafts looking at like a DT. But Jackson Dart from Ole Miss in the first round, or if they forego a quarterback in the first round, they could end up getting somebody like Jalen Milroe from Alabama in the third round. But that's like their next pick is the third round. They don't have any picks in the second round. Milroe, Quinn Ewers is there. There's another guy, but those guys I think are even projected even further. So it looks like that would be the plan if I'm the Steelers. The defense was on point. I don't think they would have to go for a DT. I don't know why this mock draft that I saw was like, oh, defensive tackle. I'm thinking we don't have a quarterback. Draft a young guy. Get this Jackson Dart fella. But if you can get A-Rod, you still get Jackson Dart because you need a backup plan because Mason Rudolph isn't going to save the team. So you at least need a backup on the team. And it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. He's going to start. There's no way. If they go out and draft a guy, I could see if they brought somebody in and he's like, they go out and draft a guy, Aaron Rodgers is definitely starting. I still don't believe him like, oh, I'll sit back and mentor, da-da-da. He's going to start the season.
Well, yeah, he's going to start. He'll say he wants to mentor, but he wants to mentor while he's playing, while he's starting. Right. He's like, yeah, you sit back and watch what I do, and I'll come talk to you in between plays and in team meetings and stuff. But this is still my team. This is my show. And honestly, I think, whatever they do with George Pickens, they've got DK Metcalf. George Pickens, maybe take some of the burden off of him from being the number one wide receiver. Maybe DK Metcalf can actually help George Pickens become a better player because of that. And then Aaron Rodgers, those are two very good wide receivers. I
don't have really a running. I mean, they had Warren, but they got rid of Najee, so I don't think their running back group or position is anything to sneeze at this point. So
I've never heard that statement. Anything to sneeze at?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
You never heard that statement?
I've never heard that in my life.
Nothing to shake a stick at?
I've heard that one, Ish, but I've nothing I can sneeze at. Or
nothing to
sneeze at.
Yeah, you like that one, huh?
That's weird. I'll probably never use that.
Don't.
But, no, I'm
Please
not going
don't.
to. Yeah, no. I don't want you to use it anymore either. But, the running back position, to get back on track, they definitely need to. If they get Aaron Rodgers, that's where they should go first round, is probably running back. And the running back depth in this year's draft is actually unbelievable. Some of them, I'm high on Cam Scatterboo. I want the Bills to draft him in the second round. And to jump back to James Cook, if the Bills don't do anything running back wise in the draft, I think James Cook gets his extension. If the Bills draft a running back, a higher end one in the earlier rounds, like round 1 or 2, because they don't have a third round pick, if they draft a running back in the second round, that's probably going to point to a sign that's like, we're not going to get anywhere close to what James Cook wants. Maybe they move him during the season, kind of like what they did with Moss a couple of years ago when they traded him to Indianapolis.
Yeah.
When we got Naeem Hines.
And then he got in a jet ski accident and didn't play.
Yep.
Great.
But yeah, I think that's going to be telling what happens with James Cook. But to go back to Pittsburgh and get back on track for the third time, I think that's what they need to do. They need to sign Aaron Rodgers, focus on the running game, maybe even the offensive line. I don't remember how good or bad the offensive line was for Pittsburgh.
It was that great, but
it can't be worse than the Jets, though.
No.
Or the Giants.
I mean, that's why the Jets got who they got, because you're going to need Fields to scramble and run for his life probably that entire season. I saw something with speaking of Giants, that Shador would be showing up in mock drafts at the 3rd overall pick. But you have Russ and you have Jameis Winston. So you have a viable backup.
Experienced backup, case of injury.
It's still viable. That's what I mean. It's like, I didn't say he was good, but you got somebody to throw in there.
Well, maybe that means that
he's above average too. I'd say Jameis is above average.
Yeah,
I'd say he's above average. I mean, he's definitely an improvement over who they had starting any of the guys last year. So
Tommy DeVito, who's still on the team, by the way.
Tommy Cutlets, man.
Tommy Cutlets still on the team.
So my point is, like, the money that they're spending on quarterbacks, and then you're going to go draft a quarterback, top 3 too, just seems a little bit weird.
But that helps with the cap, because if they're paying these quarterbacks all this money, now you've got a guy on a rookie contract who can sit for a year. Because Russell Wilson only signed a 1-year deal, and I think Jameis might be 2 years.
Those are short term.
Those are very short. So that's something that you could look at. Like, we'll see what Russell Wilson does this year. They can go draft Shador Sanders, bring him in, let him learn the NFL style of play, and then
2-year, $8 million for Jameis.
Yes, and then that's honestly pennies for a quarterback these days. But yeah, you draft Shador Sanders, and then you've got someone that can learn the system, learn your system. And also at the same time, this head coach and this GM are playing for their jobs this year. They probably have like a 9, maybe 10-week window where if they start 3-7, they get to their bye, they're gone. Both of them. See you later. Or end of the season for the GM, Joe Shane.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
These guys are playing for their jobs at this point, because especially
Russ.
Head coach. No, the head coach.
Dable.
Yeah, Brian Dable. Thank you. He's not playing, but he's coaching for his job this year. He has to go win games, which makes sense why they brought in Russell Wilson.
I guess it's just it's just added security to that quarterback room. I mean, you have a backup plan, and now you have another backup plan if that backup plan fails.
Yeah.
And I guess if you have conviction that that's your guy, you're going to get the guy no matter what. And I guess you can't blame them for having too many quarterbacks.
Yeah. Well, you also have to go get the quarterback for your team. You can't go get a quarterback for your team in the draft because that's what hurts teams a lot.
Yeah.
These teams, they panic. They didn't get the quarterback, so they go get a quarterback because they need one. And they spend way too much of their draft capital either moving up or using their first round pick on a quarterback that they panic like, oh, we need a quarterback, so they go get one. Then you need the quarterback for your team, your system, your coaching staff, whatever it may be. A lot of teams do this. We've seen it time and time again. They go out and get a quarterback, doesn't work out. He's gone. He's on another team in 3 years. Yeah. I saw a stat that the 2021 quarterbacks, all 5 of them, only one of them is on the same team that they got drafted by, and those are first round picks. Those are 5 first round picks. Wow. Trevor Lawrence is the only one still on the same team.
And honestly,
and Matt Jones is now his backup.
He's digressed the last couple of years too. So like, he probably shouldn't even be a starting quarterback right now.
I got a question. Speaking of Trevor Lawrence, I heard this today too. Would you rather Brock Purdy or Trevor Lawrence right now? No contract. Contracts aside, you can pay him whatever you want.
Right now,
you taking Brock Purdy or Trevor Lawrence?
Brock Purdy over recency. Like, I mean, over the last, if you're just looking at the last couple years, I don't care about whatever happened before that. If you're just looking at recency bias on this. Yeah, I'll take Brock Purdy.
Absolutely, I'll take Brock Purdy over Trevor Lawrence because Trevor Lawrence hasn't panned out to be the quarterback that he was when he
made it to a Super Bowl, bro.
Yeah.
I'll take him.
Probably should have won that Super Bowl.
One.
Yeah.
That's Mahomes magic, dude.
Yeah, right?
Ref magic.
Oh, here we go with the refs again.
No. Did you have anything else with like free agency moves? Because otherwise we'll move on to some rule changes that...
No, I haven't really been paying too much attention.
Me neither.
I've seen like big names. Calais Campbell, I think, just re-signed with Arizona.
The Cardinals. He's
18th season.
Yeah,
that's unbelievable,
He's just going to retire there. But yeah,
for sure. 1 year.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. You don't
for his position?
For that position. Yeah, you're right.
That's insane.
He's not
almost 20 years in the league. That
quarterback or a punter or something. He's playing D end, I think. So it's like that's impressive. Good for him, man. I thought he retired 3 years ago. I'll be honest with you. All right, let's get into it. So there were some rule changes that were talked about today. Some of them were passed today. Some of them are going to be tabled for a later date. The first thing I want to get to, and this is one that is actually going to be delayed till the end of May league meeting, is talking about banning the tush push.
Yeah.
Should this be banned? Should it not be banned? I think that they said they had 16 teams.
Yeah, I saw that.
Say 16. Yes, and they need 24 to pass it, and they couldn't get to that number. So it's the vote's actually going to get delayed till, like I said, May. My thought is no, we're not banning the tush push. You got to learn how to stop it. Yeah. That's my point. And when teams eventually will learn how to stop it, and defenses get keen to this, and it won't be as effective as it is right now. The Eagles kind of pioneering this thing and caught everybody off guard, and they were like 99% when they ran it. There's a reason why, man. It's because nobody knew it was like nobody else had seen this before. They were the only ones running it. Defenses were having to learn how to scheme on this on the fly during the year. Now what is it? That was 2 years ago, right? So last year was the second year of it, and you've seen it starting to kind of not be as effective, still effective, but not as effective. The more and more teams actually scheme for it and learn it and start doing it themselves and figuring out defenses to stop it, putting the right players in for these positions, having the right personnel out there, it won't be as effective. I think everybody's just panicking right now because of they saw the numbers year one and were like, this is cheating almost. There's no way there'll be a way. So I'm not in favor of that, man. I think they should allow it. Just don't change the rule.
I agree.
Or implement a rule.
Don't ban something just because other teams are complaining because they can't stop it.
Right.
My argument is if this were the Tennessee Titans or the Carolina Panthers doing this, who aren't making playoffs and aren't making the Super Bowl, this would never get talked about. Mm-hmm. We're talking about it because the Eagles had an amazing last couple of seasons, and they won the Super Bowl this year because of it. Well, not exactly because of it, but
but they're a winning franchise.
They're a winning franchise, and they're in the playoffs. They're in the spotlight. Right. That's why it's getting highlighted.
They're being talked about. I thought I unplugged the camera for a second, but that's not even the camera.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The other
but
side.
anyways,
okay. I was like, wait a minute, no, not the camera.
No, you scared me. But yeah, if this is a team that's not in the playoffs, not in the spotlight, we're not talking about it.
No.
So no, they shouldn't ban it. I do see people. Well, it's boring. It's a rugby play. Okay, so what? You're doing something that's effective. You're scoring touchdowns. You're getting your first downs with this play.
I don't think it's not necessarily about being boring.
It's
look,
boring
if
because it's
you're
predictable.
But if you're gonna get that close, you're gonna go with the most effective play in your arsenal there. And if it's the tush push, it's the tush push. You don't have to do it though. And honestly, I like faking the tush push and doing an outside toss or sweep or something like that. Or you can do a fake tush push and even throw out of it.
Yeah.
But I get it. When you're that close, the percentages are in your favor to pick up a foot, 6 inches, whatever it is, right? I don't know, man. I agree with you. And to that point, they're talking about this because it's the Eagles. It's a winning team. If it was the Chiefs, they'd be doing the same thing. If it was the Bills, they'd be doing the same thing. But you're right. If it was the Titans doing it last year, I don't even care if the Titans were 100% and they did it every game. Nobody cares because the Titans didn't even make playoffs. So they're not even, nobody else is going to care.
And most of these come when they're going for a touchdown. Stop them so they don't get that close. Don't let them get to the goal line or 2 yards out or a yard away on fourth downs. I know a lot of this the tush push happens even when they need a couple of yards like farther back in the field of play. But if most of these people are complaining because they're getting a guaranteed touchdown out of it, stop them 20 yards before that so that they kick a field goal. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like it's ridiculous that people are complaining about this. It's the only thing they can do is tell them you can't have somebody behind you pushing, because that was a rule back, I think, in about 2004. Then they got rid of it.
Yeah, they changed that, or you can't like pull somebody or push somebody.
You still can't pull anybody, but they got rid of the pushing part where you can push somebody. That's why.
Because I'm about to say, I've definitely seen people getting pushed.
Well, it's like a running back who gets caught up, and then the offensive lineman come in and push the pile. That's the same thing as a tush push, but he's standing upright. You know, it's pretty much the same thing.
It's the same thing.
But if they want to make an adjustment to it where they don't let somebody immediately start, pushing him as soon as the ball is snapped, that I kind of understand. It makes it a little harder to complete, but I don't think they should do any type of ban on it.
No. Next rule, overtime rules. Now each team is guaranteed a possession, sparking a debate, even if the first person scores or the first team scores. I like it. I don't like this luck of the draw. You win. I get it. Play defense, stop them. Nowadays, where offense is key in the NFL, and it's gotten harder and harder to stop these offenses, you got to give both sides a fair shot. I just give them both. I get it. If you have a number one offense and a number one defense, the offense is still probably going to win, in my opinion. The first-ranked offense against the first-ranked defense, the offense will find a way to score the ball. So it's just tough, man, to be out there on the field first, stop them, and then you got to go around and score. I'd like it if you just both get equal opportunities. You go out there and score. Okay, your turn to go out there and score. If you don't score, hey, man, you got your shot, though. And that's it. So I'm fine with them changing this rule. I think this is how it should have been. I'm not a fan of luck of the draw. You win the coin toss, basically win the game.
The only thing I would have liked them to have done is made it a 15-minute quarter instead of the 10-minute, because if it were a 15-minute,
it speeds it up though. It speeds it up a little bit here. But the game's already long.
My thing is, nobody cares about how long a football game is. Everybody's watching.
I know, I get it.
Nobody cares if it's a baseball game.
I feel like that's enough time to go down the field for each team, though. 10 minutes.
What I'm saying is, though, if you start out with 15 minutes, now if you win the coin toss, you're like, well, we're going to defer because we know we're going to get the ball back, and if we stop them,
you can still. That's plenty of time, though. Is my point.
What I'm saying is, there are a lot of drives that you can go down. You start with the ball.
You can go 7-8 minutes.
7-8 minutes.
I get it.
But then then the other team only gets 2 minutes, so you're taking a 2/3 or 3/4 of the clock away.
I guess you'll have to see how that plays out, but
it'll probably get readjusted again next year. If it comes down to that, where there is an overtime,
if teams are taking advantage of the clock, and
which they should.
You're absolutely right, because you could just milk the clock and then give your opponent, all right, you get the ball back. Now you got 2 minutes.
Yeah, run a 2-minute drill. Good luck.
I see your point.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though. I'm okay with it. Both teams getting the ball, even if the receiving team scores a touchdown first. I didn't mind the overtime rule for regular season before, where if both teams kick the field goal, next team scores, or if the first team scored a touchdown, that's kind of like, okay, well, now it makes sense why both teams get a chance to score a touchdown.
Gotcha. Next one, replay assist. Under new policy, hits on a defenseless player, grabbing the face mask, horse collar tackle, tripping, and running into or roughing the kicker can now be reviewed.
Good.
I'm for it.
Fine.
I'm all for it, dude, at this point, especially over the last couple of years where it feels like, although I showed you the numbers, I think it was like mid-season. I should have brought them back up at the end of the season. 2 years ago and the penalties last year were basically the same. And it felt like there was way more penalties being called last year than there was ever at any year before. But I think overall, if you just want to take the last like 3-4 years as sample size and look at the 4 years prior to that, definitely I feel like we've seen an uptick in penalties. And if we're calling penalties all the time, now we got to start reviewing this shit to make sure we're getting them right. Or just don't call the penalties, which is probably the biggest thing they should do. Don't blow that fucking whistle unless you're 100% sure.
Yeah, I agree. No,
because now we are going to be adding to the time of the game for unnecessary bullshit. We got a review of a fucking face mask. They got to be quick. He's got to be quick. That was gonna be my point. I was gonna say I'm okay with it as long as they're quick. They got to have. Dude, 30 seconds is the max you need on any of these calls. With the amount of cameras we got, and that's another thing we'll talk about in a second here. But with the amount of cameras that we got and the technology we got, there's no way this should take longer than 30 seconds on a penalty, dude. Like, you see the finger or not, man? Is he grabbing or is he not? Like, did he run into the kicker or did he rough the kicker? These should literally take 30 seconds maximum. And then I'm fine with these replay assists.
Yeah, for sure. And I was going to say, they've got to be quick. They got to be under like 30, 45 seconds. Like, not even a minute. Like, I think 30 seconds. You've got to have more because they already have what's called the eye in the sky. They already have a review judge up in a booth somewhere. Now they're going to need multiple where each of them are looking at different angles, like at the same time. Like, and then they can be like, oh, they look at each other, they give themselves a thumbs up, yeah, it's a penalty, or they give thumbs down, no, it's not a penalty, put the flag up, move on. Or, you know what I mean? It's got to be quick. I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, is this a penalty?
Go to commercial break.
Do I have time to take a piss while they figure this out?
You gotta go to commercial break. Go fill up your nachos.
Yeah, get another beer. Like, I don't know, but like, yeah, I don't want to have to sit here like and have to decide like, oh, well, we'll see how long they're going to take to figure this out. It needs to be quick. It needs to be almost instantaneous, which is instant replay.
Okay. NFL introduces Hawkeye cameras to measure first downs. Cameras will effectively replace the on-field chain game measurements on crucial plays. League will use 6 8K cameras to track the ball's position on the field. League stated the entire measurement process will roughly take 30 seconds and save about 40 seconds compared to manual chain gang measurements. The chain gang isn't going away completely and will continue to be used in a secondary capacity.
Which just means they're just marking the side.
Right.
They're not going to be. We're never going to see. Well, because
that's my thing. Oh, we're putting guys out of jobs now.
Yeah, they're just going to get paid to hold the sticks now and change the sign says third or fourth down.
Exactly. Yeah. So, that's still important as a visual for the players. That's you know what I mean. Like, okay, you're not using it as effective, like precise measurement, but you're still using it as like if I'm the quarterback, I look over, there's my first down marker. I know where I'm going. Right. Right. So you still. I agree. You can't really get rid of those markers. And if you're going to have a guy hold it, you might as... Okay, I get that. Again, agree with that change. We're getting more precise on these. That's fine by me. Touchbacks moving to the 35-yard line. So, what was it? 30-yard line in 2024? Yeah. Moving it back another 5 yards to try to discourage as many touchbacks as there was last year. They want people taking the ball out.
Yeah. Which is exactly what they want. They want the kickoff to be something because it used to be, oh, we got a kickoff. Now we can go to the bathroom, get another beer, get another snack, whatever. They want more eyes on the TVs. They want more people in their seats in the stadiums. Now
they screwed up by moving everything forward, doing this whole thing because we don't want to risk injury.
Which I get. I understand that because a lot of injuries happen on special teams.
I know. They could have found a happy medium though.
Running full speed.
I know, but they could have. I feel like they're starting way too close. Nobody's want to take it out anymore, man. It's not just conducive. It's not the same. I don't like that rule. I just don't like they changed it to begin with.
Yeah.
I think there could have been a happy medium where they moved something if they could have still lessened the injuries, but they went from, all right, the whole team's back here, to now we're right here. Yeah. Like they could have did something.
And you can't move till
they catch the ball, which is weird because now you got to, if you're in the receiving team, you got to look this way and make sure your guy touches it. And I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel.
Well, I'm assuming there's one guy up on the middle of the line there that's looking back.
Yeah, he
just gives a signal to go. Yeah, it's something like that. I don't think the entire line's just like, hey, this guy got to catch the ball. And then they turn around, they're getting bulldozed. I don't really care for the rule, the change in it. I didn't really care for it to begin with, like you said. If anything, they should have just moved their kicker 5 yards back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why we move?
That's my thing.
Yeah, move the kicker 5 yards back instead. Then why you got to move the? And if he still boots it through the end zone, it's like, all right, you're still at the 30. Just keep it at the 30.
Yeah, because now it's making it harder for kickers to be more precise on kickoff versus. Well, I get the kickers have gotten better and they're kicking it further than they did 20 years ago, but I agree. Just move the kickers back. Then who cares? The kicker's not making a fucking play anyways. Especially nowadays, they're definitely not making a play.
Yeah.
The next two are kind of proposals that the Lions had brought up. The Lions' defensive penalty proposal fails. So it was a proposal to eliminate automatic first downs on defensive holding and illegal contact penalties. They introduced a proposal which sought to eliminate the automatic first downs on certain defensive penalties under current rules, which remain in 2025. Illegal contact and defensive holding will result on a 5-yard penalty and automatic first down. So they're saying get rid of the automatic first down.
Yeah, just make
a 5-yard penalty.
It don't matter to me either way. I guess it makes sense because this helps the offense more too. Like these are automatic first downs because of a defensive penalty. It's like, all right, now the offense is getting even more help when there's already all these rules in place for the quarterback. You can't even look at a quarterback the wrong way without getting a flag these years. So now that you look at it this way, it's like I kind of agree with that. Get rid of the automatic first down, just make it a 5 yards.
I think there's some sort of strategic thing behind this because if you're on defense and you're trying to stop somebody, you can kind of just stop. Would it stop the clock on a defensive holding too, or no? Because I'm like, you could just stop the clock and not take a first down on it. It would just be like a loss of down. Why wouldn't you just take a defensive holding on purpose, stop the clock, and they lose a down?
Okay. Yeah.
It's kind of weird. So I don't know.
Now as you put it that way, I guess I'm kind of torn on which way it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's then they have to be like, well, he did it on purpose, so it's an automatic first down. But if he doesn't do it on purpose, it's not an automatic first down. It's like one of those like ticky-tacky things.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. The other one that the Lions seek, the wild card seeding proposal, that one's tabled. So Lions proposed to alter playoff seeding, which was tabled under the team's proposal. Wild card teams which have better records than teams that won in their division will be seeded higher. I don't mind that one.
No, me either, actually.
But it's weird because you're supposed to get rewarded for winning your division. However, if you're in a division like the fucking Falcons, where everybody's ass every year, and you're making playoffs going one game over 500, and some other team won 12 games, 13 games, 14 games, that team's getting punished. So they said the change would have helped the Lions division mates in 2024, despite finishing 14-3. The Minnesota Vikings were the 5 seed. The Packers faced similar dilemma after winning 11 games in the regular season. They were the 7th seed. Both teams were seeded lower than the 10-7 Rams and the 10-7 Tampa Bay Bucks because the Rams and Bucks won their division. And then it says the Packers and Vikings lost their first playoff game. So that's why they're bringing this up. I mean, you think if they bring it up, if they win their games, though?
Probably not. But it's weird that the Lions proposed this when they won the division.
Yeah, well, because you know why they're proposing this? Because it could go either way the next couple of years here. Both those teams are so good, and the Packers for that matter. These teams are all going to be good going forward. That division could be up for grabs, and they're envisioning, hey man, I think 3 out of 4 teams every year could probably win double-digit games. Yeah, and especially they've seen what is that? The NFC South is that the that's the Falcons one. Yeah, they've been bad for so long, that division overall. That division's horrible. I can kind of see that because the Lions could be like, yo, that could have easily been us this year, and it could be us next year. What if we only win 14 games, right? It's like, what if we only win 14 games now? We're gonna get screwed. So I could see them bringing it up. They're in a competitive division. I don't mind that. I could see that boning some teams though, because there could be a year, man, the Bills make it, win the division with 10, 11 wins. Yeah, that's true. And then we end up being a 5th or 6th seed, dude, instead of a 3rd.
Yeah, I see it. I see it both ways. I'm kind of indifferent on it. I see why, seeding, just go, first to worst in order of seedings.
Dude, look at how friggin' much stuff is on the bottom of that.
Yeah, that's gross as shit. So show the camera that.
No, we can't. I don't think they can see this, man.
I don't know. Probably not.
I don't know if you can see that, guys. There's so much sediment on the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah, delicious. I love eating my beer.
And then, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm indifferent on it because I can see where you want to rate it for first to worst in order of playoff teams.
Yeah.
But also you're kind of screwing teams that win their division. They don't get a reward for it at this point either. So I see it both ways. Honestly, I don't really care. You just got to win. Like we saw the Giants when they won their Super Bowl. I don't know if there were 7 playoff teams at that point or 6. They were the 6th seed. They were the bottom seed, and they won every road playoff game until they got to the Super Bowl. Both times they won the Super Bowl. They were a wild card team, won all of their games on the road. Just win your games. That's all it comes down to.
Great. All right.
Well, thanks.
No, I get it. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, you're busy looking through slides and shit.
All right, we are going to move on to the NCAA. All right, folks. We've made it to the Final Four. Well, Sunday is the Final Four. No, wait.
Is it Saturday?
Friday is the Final Four.
When's the championship game? Monday?
Monday. God damn it. Now I need to look this up. You think we run a podcast here and we would know what we're talking about.
I don't even
here.
bring anything. I brought a laptop a couple times. It distracts me more than it actually helps me. I'll use my phone if I need to a couple
Saturday.
times.
So Saturday is the Final Four. Monday is the championship game.
I think it's back. I think it's the next day for the women's. Women's are Sunday. Final Four.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
I think
they're always
right.
like a day ahead or day after, whatever it is.
So we're set here. Auburn, Duke, Houston, Florida. First time since 2008 that there was all 1 seeds playing in the Final Four, and that was coincidentally also played in San Antonio, where Final Four is being played. So kind of ironic there. I'm gonna pull up the sheet here, guys, because Jeff and I, what was it, like 2 weeks ago, we did our brackets here and had a little friendly competition.
Yeah, and had I just kept my original Final Four, I would have had the Final Four correct. So that's what I get for getting in my own head and listening to you. I should have just said, "Here you go." I sent it. Like that's all it is.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, let's get squirrely. Let's knock Houston out to Gonzaga because I wanted to give Greggy T a little shout out there. But yeah, Greggy T, Gonzaga screwed me, so I'll never pick them again. And then I thought Iowa was going to be something, and they got bounced. So thanks a lot for that. I had them going to the Final Four. They got bounced.
Yeah, Iowa State. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I had them going at least another round after that. The second round, and they couldn't make it that far. But Kansas really screwed me. I had Kansas going all the way to the Elite Eight. They got bounced out in I think it was the second round or first round. No, second round. And then I had Kentucky going pretty far. I thought Kentucky would have beat Tennessee. Nope. Who else did I have here? Those are it. Kind of the only really mess ups that I think I had. Only 2 teams, but overall, first round, second round, Sweet 16, and the Elite Eight. You were only 1 game behind me in each of those rounds. So,
and that's not bad considering I don't watch college basketball like you do.
Yeah,
and I'm going to be honest with you. This March Madness was kind of March.
There was no madness.
There was no madness. Exactly. There was only
madness.
one. The first round, there was only the first weekend, there was only 1 buzzer beater, and it was the very last game on Sunday. After what was it, the final 32 or whatever they call that. I don't know whatever.
Which one?
Round of 32.
Round of 32, second round.
It was the very last one. Was it Michigan State? I think.
Oh.
Marquette. No, New Mexico. Michigan State, New Mexico. I don't know which game
Texas
it was.
Tech?
I'm not exactly sure which one. It was the very last game at Sunday, that first full weekend.
Oh, the first full weekend was the second round. So
yeah, second round. Whatever that was. I forgot. It was the very last game on that Sunday. It was the only buzzer beater. Out of might
have been, I don't know,
90 something games or 80 something games. Like it's crazy.
Right. So overall, out of the through 4 rounds, I got 47 out of 60 games correct. You got 43 out of 60. So I was 78% accurate. You were 72% accurate. It wasn't that big of a difference.
Hey, that's passing.
That's passing.
That's a passing grade. I would have taken a 72% in high school.
Yeah, you get a 72 on your test. You're passing, right?
Yep, that's all that mattered to me.
My thoughts, though, Final Four starting up, like we said on Saturday. I got Florida winning this whole thing. I think Duke is pretty much the team to beat. They've been steamrolling everybody they've come across. They literally have 4 starters on this team that are probably going to be in the NBA, if not this upcoming season, the season after that. We know Cooper Flagg is probably going to be projected 1 overall in the upcoming NBA draft. Tyrese Proctor, Con Knippel, and their center Malawach. They got 4 guys out of 5 starters that are potential NBA starters, or at least playing in the NBA. So I don't see anybody really knocking them off. I'm hoping it's going to be a Florida-Duke match because I think that'll be the best case scenario. That'll be the most fun to watch those Duke teams kind of going at it. But Duke's playing Houston and Florida's playing Auburn. Auburn was the one I missed on my Final Four. I thought Michigan State would have made it. I know you had Iowa State going, right?
Yep.
To the Final Four. And then who'd you have in the bottom bracket? I had Houston. You had Tennessee?
I had Tennessee. I originally had Houston, but then I got squirrely and changed it, and I had Tennessee.
But Tennessee, honestly, wasn't a bad pick, and a lot of people were betting on Tennessee in the Elite Eight because just I don't know why. I think just because I thought that Houston should win that. I wasn't going to bet because the spread was too much on it, but I thought Houston is Tennessee, but with a better defense. They can hit their threes. They're a defensive team first, but they can hit their threes. They have that offensive spark, but I think that they're the bigger team, and they're just the better defensive. They are Tennessee, but better than Tennessee. So that's why I had Houston going. Otherwise, I did like Tennessee, and I know a lot of people had them advancing, but Duke and who did Duke? Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, that was good for the first probably 10 minutes, and then Duke just kept opening it up, and they get so much of a lead that it's just hard to crawl back. The game before that, when Bama played BYU, and that game went into like the 200 total because both those teams were unconscious from 3, and Alabama literally broke the NCAA tournament record with 25 made threes.
Out of 51.
They literally shot almost 50% from 3, shooting 25 threes. Everybody was Steph Curry on that game, on that team. It's incredible.
Yeah, dude, that game, that was actually a fun game to watch. I remember watching that one. I was just like, dude, this game is nuts. And it's just like, how many times are they going to score? How many times are they not going to score? It's like they literally was like they were almost 50%, like from 3. And the crazy part is they took 16 shots from 2. Like, holy smokes! Like, what are you doing out here?
Someone said if you take all their 3-pointers away, they win by 4. Like they did the math. That's crazy. If you even take all the 3-pointers, they win by 4.
That's wild.
So yeah, that was a wild game.
Or would it take away and turn them into 2s? Because if you take 75 points away, they lose. They only shot like 80-something baskets that game, and 51 of them.
Oh, maybe it was if you take all their 2s away, they would have won or something.
Oh, okay.
I think there was some sort of weird math where if you subtracted one of them, they would have still won the game.
Because I think they only took 16 shots from 2 point.
Yeah.
Like, so that you take 30.
Everything was behind the arc.
Yeah, and they won it. They won by a lot, so.
The NIT championship is tomorrow night. We got Chattanooga versus UC Irvine. Nobody really cares too much about these games. I care a little bit about it just because I've been betting on some of them. But Chattanooga's the underdog. UC Irvine is actually the 1 seed going into the NIT bracket. So they're right where they should be. Chattanooga's kind of been the underdog. They've played 3 road games up until a neutral court yesterday's game was on a neutral court. But up until the neutral court, they won 3 road games straight, neutral court win, and now they're playing in the NIT championship tomorrow against the 1 seed. If I am betting on it, I might take the points, take Chattanooga, and just roll with the underdog, just because they've been rolling the whole time. They've been covering the spread every time and winning games as an underdog. I think honestly, a lot of people have been saying the NIT championships or the NIT tourney has been more fun to watch than the NCAA tourney, just because it's been so chalk in the NCAA. It's 1 seed, 2 seed, 1 seed. We got UC Irvine as a 1 seed, but Chattanooga, I don't even know if they were seeded in this thing, how that even works. There's no number next to their name. So it's pretty cool when you got an actual underdog making it to the championship game. That's what people want to see. They want to see the Cinderella stories. They want to see schools. Nobody fucking watches Chattanooga of Tennessee. Nobody even knows that's a real college. So they want to see people like that, teams like that, make it far.
Yeah, I think this is a one-off for the NCAA tournament, like the actual like Final Four, March Madness, whatever. Like this is a one-off because this is only the second time that they've had all 4 1 seeds make it to the Final Four.
It's probably not going to happen again for a while.
But like I said, this is a one-off. This is the first year I'm just watching these games, and I'm like, this is kind of underwhelming for somebody that was looking forward to the madness of March Madness. I didn't get enough madness, and I'm a little upset about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I won some money on betting on some of these games, but I didn't win enough money.
It's always good when you win money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only betting $5-10 at a time, but
it's still always fun when you're winning money, though. And then the last thing, there was actually 4 tournaments going on. One of them already ended, which was the CBI tournament, which was a bunch of lower and mid-major teams. They have, and this is the first year they're doing the Crown tournament, which is being held in Vegas. This is a mixture of mid-major and higher major teams. I think they're in like the final 4 or Elite 8 of those two. I think there's only like 4 games left. So yeah, the Elite 8 of those games. The fun thing is it was a quick tournament. It started on Monday, and I think it'll be over by the time that the NCAA Final 4 starts. So quick tournament to kind of get give a couple other teams chances. The purpose of this Crown tourney, I guess, was there was a few teams in here that were probably on the bubble of making it in the NCAA tournament. So they're giving them an opportunity to win a tournament. And also they're giving out, there's some sort of monetary prizes here for the school. So NIL money is being distributed out to the first and second place teams, I believe. I forget the exact amounts, but so there is something to play for. These teams, a lot of the players, and there is some controversy with this going on because there's a lot of players opting out because they're in the portal, or they're opting out because of they want to be eligible for the draft. So like star players on some of these teams aren't really even playing. So you're seeing teams show up with like the fucking backups. The Water Boys are in there playing 40 minutes. So it's kind of all over the place, which makes gambling especially hard. And found out yesterday that a lot of these games are not regulated in some states, and some people have lost money on these. Yeah, bets were getting voided. One of the podcasts I watched said that the guy placed some bets. I don't know what state he's in, but there's only like 5, I think, states that it's actually regulated in, and New York State is actually one of them. It is because they actually had him up in the morning. I bet on a couple games. They took him off by noon, but my bets were locked in, and then they came back up like after the first game started. That's weird. Something fishy happened. But I was hearing in other states where they didn't pass it through, if you won the bet, they voided it. And some people say if you lost it, they should avoid it. They just took your money.
Oh shit!
They're fucking straight up scamming people out here, dude.
That's gotta be illegal.
It is illegal. It's straight like like DraftKings, like big. It wasn't like they were going to like some fucking offshore bullshit. This is like big companies, bookies that were taking money. So, but the one dude that runs a NCAA podcast I listen to, he's like, yeah, man, didn't matter. I was going to lose either way because I win my bet, they take my money and void it and give me back. Or no, I win my bet, they void it, give me back my money. I lose my bet. They just take it. Jesus, they just took my money. Insane. I was like, oh my goodness. So yeah, that's pretty wild. All right. Let's move on here we're going to talk a little Sabres here. Let me get my slides ready.
We do have a commenter wants to know when the wrestling talk starts.
Oh, shoot.
It's WrestleMania season.
We'll do a special segment for Jeff that he could talk just on wrestling.
Yeah, don't get me started on WrestleMania season. I'm excited. But it's going to be like talking to a brick wall because you have absolutely no clue what I'd be talking about.
I'll shake my head.
Yeah.
I'll shake my head.
Not in agreement. All right.
All right, Sabres. Sabres beat the Senators 5-2. Was that yesterday? They sweep the season series.
Yep. I wish you could play them 82 games a year. What the fuck?
82-0?
Yeah.
I think they've been playing better since that like 6-game losing streak that they had, which ended in March 8th. They've gone 8-4 since then, and then winning 5 out of the last 6 games more recently. The Sabres, I mean, they got 2 30-plus goals scorers on their team with Tuck and Thompson. Thompson will be at 40. He's at 39, I think, right now. They got 2 good playmakers with Peterka and Dahlin, both hovering around that 40, 45-ish in assists. And Peterka's been kind of coming into his own this year. He's been putting the puck in the net as well. Zucker had 19 power play points on a season so far. But the goaltending has kind of been spotty. We lack toughness and just defense overall. Sabres give up the 4th most goals against, but they have the 7th most goals for.
Yeah, they have a very good point differential when it comes to like they score a lot of goals.
They can score. They just can't stop anybody from scoring.
That is a huge problem. And to bounce back off the toughness, I have seen some toughness the last few games. I went to both games that were in Buffalo last Tuesday and Thursday. Great games to be at. They, beating Pittsburgh 7-3, always a good thing.
Yeah, that's huge.
They had a nice game on Tuesday night as well. Was that Ottawa again? Yeah, it was Ottawa. Yeah. That was a very good game. They, I think, and I was watching the game last night, and they looked like they looked like they gave a shit. And that's kind of what we've been missing this entire end of the season, middle of the season, towards the end of the season. They lost their give a shit, and it looks like they've finally given it back or gotten it back towards the end of the stretch. And believe it or not, they're actually not out of the playoffs yet. They're only 8 points
mathematically, right? Yeah,
mathematically, they're only 8 points out of the wild card spot, which you go back to that 6-game losing streak you just talked about that ended in March, and then you have that 13-game losing streak. We're probably going to miss the playoffs, mark my words, by 4 or 5 points, and we're going to be like, well, if they didn't go 0-13 and then 0-6, they lost 19 games this year. So just on 2 different losing streaks. Like you win half of those, you're in the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's frustrating because now they are now, other than the Utah Hockey Club, they are now the last team that has made the playoffs in the last, I think, what was it, 10, 15 years. You good?
Yeah, I don't know what the other rug too. Yeah, but this was what they did last year, right? Like they got hot at the end of the season, they go on this run, but it's too little, too late again. You got to be consistent throughout the year, and they're not a consistent team. What do you think about my my goalie kind of take here? I think UPL is looking more like a 1B goaltender now, rather than a 1A. There's been talk about Levi needing maybe probably one more year, in the minors before the Sabres kind of can move him up full time. But we really need a guy that can start 50 plus games a season, and you win 30, 35 of those, you're in really good shape. And then your backup comes in and wins another, 10 to 15 of those. You got to win. Yeah. You got to put some games together here. But I don't think they're going to win 50 freaking games, just 50-0 as a starting goaltender. But you need somebody to come in here and be able to start 50 games and win a good chunk of those. But like I said, I think UPL is just turning into like a 1B on most teams.
Well, he ended hot last season, started hot this season. The games that I was going to and the games that I watched on TV, UPL was keeping them in I remember specifically the Avalanche game when they were up 4-0 and they ended up losing 5-4 in regulation. They were up 4-0 after one, lost 5-4. UPL, when he was getting peppered in the second and third period, he kept them in that game. If the offense got their head out of their ass and they got another goal or two and put that away, UPL's getting a couple more wins. But this later half of the season, UPL is kind of almost like a shell of himself. James Reimer has actually been the better goalie. He was in both games that I saw last week. And then you bring UPL in this week and you put him in against the Flyers, and they fucking lose. Like 8-5 or 8-3 or some dumb shit like that. Like, how do you used to lose to the Flyers? That's when they had the back-to-back road trip between the Flyers and the Capitals. I said, well, they're probably going to beat the Flyers, lose Capitals. And they fucking flipped it. Because that's what the Sabres do. They lose to shit teams and they beat the good teams. Like, they swept the Senators. The Senators are still in the playoffs right now. As of now, they're in a wild card spot.
Yeah, that's a difference.
It's so frustrating.
On a lot of good teams, though, you need to be able to just beat who you're supposed to beat. And then if you have close games with these harder teams and you split some of them, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to go in, spank some of these good teams, and then lose to a team that you should not be losing to. Dude.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't even close. Like, what they lose, 7-3 or something like that?
8-3 or 8-5.
They gave up fucking 8 goals to the Flyers, though.
Yeah.
But that right there is enough to be like, what are you doing? Did UPL start that game?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's
what I mean. And then UPL started that game. I'm like, well, that makes sense. He's been rusty, or he's been rested. Let's get him some play time, ease him back in a little bit. We'll see what he can do. Then he goes and lets up 8 goals. Well, I don't know if he let in all 8 goals, but I didn't get to watch that game all the way through. But I know UPL started that game and Reimer played against Washington. It's just so frustrating that the Sabres, they can be so good but so bad at the same time. Like, Samuelson can get the fuck off this team. I can't stand him. He is probably one of the worst defensemen that I've ever seen on the Buffalo Sabres, and we've had some pretty bad defensemen. Like, Benson is probably my absolute favorite player right now, outside of like Tuck and Thompson and Dowling. He fights hard every single shift. He's the first guy in the corner, and he's one of the smallest guys on the team, but he's one of the first guys to start throwing fucking fists in your face if you get in his face. I love it. The dude plays like he wants to win, like he wants to be on this team.
Yeah. You need that grit. You need that toughness.
But he's only like 5'9". I think you're taller than
but
him.
you want maybe you want more guys like that though. You want a whole team of guys like that. I'm not saying you need a team of guys to fight people, but you want a team of guys
more toughness
that are going to be thick-skinned, stick up for one another. That Tage hit and everybody skated away. I still can't get that out of my head. But
well, they've corrected that a little bit. They've gotten a little bit more rough when they've. Like I said, I'm seeing the whole. It shouldn't even have to be said though.
Like
you're absolutely
and
right.
I think that is more of like the players are just down on themselves because they know this has been another disappointing season. And I don't think they did it purposely. It's not like, they hit them and they're like, I'm not going to go help. I just think it just is like they're kind of numb to it because they've had such a bad season that it's not even like registering.
But that hit happened early enough in the season.
It wasn't that early. That was like a month ago, dude.
That hit on Thompson? I thought that was like a month ago. I thought that was during the 13-game losing streak. I thought
that was like a month ago, bro. That was way after Christmas.
I'll have to look that up.
But yeah, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I like what I've seen from the Sabres so far. This towards the end of the season. It just sucks that once again for the 14th year in a row, it's too little, too late. It's mind-boggling.
I agree.
But I mean, what are you gonna do?
Win games earlier. That's what you're going to do.
We were winning games earlier.
Don't lose 10 in a row.
I said it before.
And then don't lose another 15. Like it's like they lose these chunks of games, which are crazy.
Yeah.
I think I just saw the Blues are on a 10-game win streak.
Yeah.
God bless. If the Sabres ever got a 10-game win streak, celebrate then.
Yeah.
Because that might be our Stanley Cup, dude. 10-game win streak, dude. All right, got a slide for the MLB. Yes, folks, MLB.
Baseball.
We're going to talk a little bit of baseball. Baseball is back. Hooray. Basically into like 7 games into the season right now. I mean,
are we talking torpedoes?
We can talk torpedoes. I want to lead off. I'm going to lead off with my team, the Anaheim Angels. Of Los Angeles, off to a 4-2 start, despite Mike Trout being absolute butt cheese. Literally today, he got his first home run today. So he's got 1 home run on the season, but they lost like 5-12 to the Cardinals earlier this afternoon. He's got a 143 batting average, which is like 3rd worst on the team. Not good if you're Mike Trout, and that's the guy you need to rely on. However, they've been getting games done. They've been winning games in other ways, which is great. They did play the White Sox the first series, which they lost the first game, and then they won the second game 1-0, and then beat them the third game. But it's like you're struggling to win against the White Sox is not a good sign.
Not at all.
But then the Cardinals were hot, and they won the first two games against the Cardinals, dropped the last one in the series. I think it's only a 3-game series with them. So, I mean, overall 4-2, I'm not mad about them starting off the season. It's going to be the same shit as last year, though. I think they beefed up pitching a little bit, but it's still nowhere near where it needs to be. And then, like I said, outside of Trout, you need other guys to step up. We'll see. Hopefully the injury bug doesn't hit these players, especially him. They need to stay healthy.
Did you see his first game? Like his first at bat?
No.
He took a fucking pitch off the hand. He ended up obviously he came back. I was just like, how cursed is this dude? You play on one of the worst franchises. You don't want to leave. You won't let them trade you. And then you're always injured. Now you're coming in. You're healthy. You knock on wood. And then you take a fucking pitch off the hand. And I'm like, dear God, this dude just broke his hand first game of the season. Like, he was okay. But it's like, that is how cursed he is. Dude's going to go down as one of the best players to ever play this game and probably only play in 3 postseason games and got swept. Like, it's unreal.
I put a future bet on Angels to make the playoffs. It was 9-1 odds to make the playoffs. So
who'd you bet that through?
DraftKings.
DraftKings, they thank you for your money.
Yeah, they do. It was $10, dude. It's 10 to win like 100, dude. So I'll throw a $10 bill on there and see if we can make playoffs. Honestly, after what I've seen, it's still up in the air. Jury's still out. I mean, the Athletics literally don't have a home team. And they're in their division.
They're like a AAA team at
They're
this
playing
point.
in Sacramento at some AAA place. So like, and I think Houston's come down a lot more. They're not the Houston that they used to be.
Yeah.
Mariners are kind of like, So it's like I'm not too scared of the teams in their division like I was in previous years. So they could make a wild card maybe. Who knows? We'll see.
Well, how about the Braves being 0-6? Never saw that coming. They look horrendous.
Dude, the Angels got like 4 players from the Braves too.
Yeah.
Their catcher, Darnold or whatever, Darnold, Travis Darnold. Like, I'm definitely butchering his last name.
I don't even know, so I'm not going to try.
Okay. And a couple other guys, but they've got like 3 or 4 players from the Braves. Maybe they were good players then. That's why the Braves suck. And that's why the Angels are 4-2.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, that would be phenomenal, but
torpedo bats. So you want to talk torpedoes?
Yeah, I love how everybody.
I didn't even know what this was until like yesterday, dude.
Yeah,
like,
well, the Yankees came out and fucking hit like 16 home runs against the Brewers.
They smoked them.
Oh, dude, Judge had 3 home runs that day on Saturday. Had another one the next day. It's like, damn, this is crazy. Like they're going absolutely bonkers on this dude on this team right now. But yeah, the torpedo bats basically, it's more of an aerodynamic thing. The rule is the width of your bat can't be more than 2.6 inches around in diameter. So basically, they're putting all of the mass in the middle of the bat. They created like a softball sweet spot. Like we played softball, we know where the sweet spot on a bat is, and that's what they're doing basically for these major league bats. And they're thinned out at the top. It's not a straight barrel anymore. It's kind of thinner at the top, makes it more aerodynamic. And as long as you hit that sweet spot, the problem is they made these bats because these pitchers are throwing 106 miles an hour. And if you don't get it, like you need more of a sweet spot. You need to be able to combat that. So that makes more sense.
I was like, because I heard McAfee talk about this. It was about like not necessarily getting rid of the weight, but shifting the weight.
Shifting it to the middle.
Right.
Yeah, to a sweet spot.
To a sweet spot. So I don't know if that makes it more aerodynamic, but.
Well, it's because it's torpedo shaped. So it's thicker in the middle. I've seen, I don't know if that's why.
It's like one of those bazooka bats or whatever you do where it's like giant in the middle.
Yeah, that's funny. No, but it's a little bit thinner at the top instead of being a straight thickness all the way
like
through.
A cone,
yeah, I got to be careful with my hand gestures here because
this is PG-13.
We're on
PG-13.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, dude. So, but the whole season they've been using it, this new torque, which I get. It's crazy to me because it's like, this is something that I feel like should have been talked about before, I guess, the season started. I felt like this would make news. I guess in my head, I'm like, does this not have to get passed as like something through the MLB to be like, hey, we're going to just use a totally different bat now. Like, I get the specifications of the weight's the same, the length the same, whatever. But if you're changing the shape of the bat, like, how is that not like something that has to get brought up in like a MLB, like these, like the NFL's doing with rule changes? How is that not done at the MLB with changing how the shape of the bat is?
It's legal. Like this bat.
But why? How is that? You're changing literally one of the most crucial parts of the game. Hitting.
Because
that should be talked about. That should be voted on. And I don't care either way, but I feel like that should be something.
Because there are very minimal rules on how the bat has to look. It doesn't look like a standard baseball bat anymore. But the rules state it's got to be 2.6 inches, no more than 2.6 inches around at
the thickest part.
At the thickest part.
But it doesn't say the thickest part has to be at the top.
Correct. So that's the loophole, quote unquote. And then the handle can't be more than I think like 0.86 inches or so. It's a weird number, like 0.85 or 0.89 inches around where you grip it. So it's one of those things where it's like people are just taking advantage of. I eventually think that the MLB is going to be like, yeah, we're not going to do this anymore.
They might, like, this season might be the last season we see it. And then you know what? If the fucking Yankees win the World Series, there'll be an asterisk because they use torpedo
for sure
bats, right?
Yeah.
However, their best hitter's not using it. Judge is not using it because
Judge isn't using it?
Judge isn't using it because he already hits bombs the way he is.
That's
so
true.
There's no point for him to change. Dude's not even a human, dude. Like, somebody that size hitting the ball, it doesn't matter what you give him a fucking toothpick, he's going to be hitting home runs. So I don't think he really needs to use it, and he said he didn't want to use it anyways. He doesn't want to change what he's doing. But guys like Austin Wells, who aren't known for hitting bombs, hits a bomb in that game. It's like
Anthony Volpe, Jazz Chisholm, or whatever.
Well, Chisholm, I thought, did pretty good when we got him last year. He was hitting some dingers last year.
We got him last year. This dude just said he's a fucking
Angels
fan. Oh, when we got Chisholm last year, he was going to hit some dingers.
We as New York State got him.
Fuck New York State.
New York State.
Besides the Mets.
Anyways, your team, how they doing?
I actually
both your teams.
Both my teams.
Yeah, the Guardians and the Mets.
Guardians not so hot. Mets probably not so hot. They dropped the game the other day when Senga was on the mound and Lindor and him had a little bit of a miscommunication. Lindor missed a play, but
right now it's 4-4, top of the 10th, Mets Marlins.
Damn.
You got a barn burner right there.
Yeah, we do.
Has what's his face Soto done anything? Has he hit any home runs?
He finally hit a home run. Yeah, he got at least one. He didn't hit one the first game, and people were like, this fucking dude sucks. Get him off my team. And then the Yankees fans are like, that's why we didn't pay him money, because it's the first game of the season. He didn't hit a fucking home run. And, of course, Judge went and hit 3 the next day. So that obviously, added fuel to the fire, too. But then he hits a home run. But
so they won 1 out of 2 or 1 out of 3 against the Astros, and they're split right now with the Marlins.
So and 2-4?
So they're 3-5. They're 3-5 right now.
Yeah, I can't do math.
Wait. They're 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3. How many games they played? This will be the 6th game.
So they're 3-2.
No,
2-4. 2-5.
Dude, I don't know. They won 1 game there, 2 games there. So they've got 3 wins out of 5 games. They're 3-5. Yes, they're 3-5.
No, they're 3-2.
They're 3-5. They're 3. Oh, they
3-2.
No,
they played 5 games. They've won 3 of them. 5 minus 3 is 2.
Guys,
3-2.
This is only 5%. Too,
5%.
So.
Yeah, I mean, whew. Yeah, I don't usually start paying.
Unless the floaters are adding extra alcohol.
I mean, maybe that is maybe. I mean, look at this. It looks like fucking sand at a beach at the bottom of my cup.
Good thing is that'll stick to the bottom. You're not going to end up drinking it anyways.
Maybe I will drink it. Fuck it.
Yeah, you might start hallucinating.
Hey, that'd be fun. Do a podcast hallucinating.
And take some shrooms before it.
Yeah, right?
All right, folks. I don't think I have anything else on the docket here. Hope everybody enjoyed it. We're going to give a shout out here again to needing sponsors. Looking for sponsors. Again, podcast will be uploaded accordingly to Spotify and Apple Music, Apple Podcasts. Probably get to it tonight, so it'll be up tomorrow morning at some point. Let us know how you feel on the YouTube videos. Please comment, subscribe.
Turn the
notifications on so you know that when we go live. We try to go live around the 6:30 time. It alternates Wednesdays, Thursdays. Once we get back into the full swing of things with the football season starting back up, we'll be on a more routine schedule. What I do want to say is we'll probably do an episode before the draft because I want to get like predictions out there and stuff.
I think we talked about this.
And I think that will be episode 0 or 1 of the new season. So we'll start off the new season with our 2025 projections.
So is this it? This is season finale?
This I guess this is a season finale.
Are we going to do
here.
one next week? We could just recap the final
I guess we could. So yeah, not official then. So yeah, maybe not the season finale because we might do a recap before we lead into that. Correct, but.
If we don't do one next week to recap the final 4.
Don't do one next week.
This is the season finale.
This could be season finale? I don't know, guys. All right, guys. With that being said, I'm Mikey D.
I'm Jeff.
Yeah.
Go Bills. That was fun. The fucking sentiment on this thing is wild, though.